Season 2 is here, and we're starting with your biggest weak link: strength and conditioning. You're stacking gym load on a nervous system that's already overdrawn. Today, Abraham is attacking how triathletes misunderstand strength training and why your body keeps breaking down when you're doing everything right. The full breakdown, the framework, the fix. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Unbroken Protocol. I'm Abraham Spring, and this is Season 2, Strength and Conditioning for Triathletes, a recovery-led approach. Now imagine this. You're aerobically fit, your engine's strong, your cardio is solid. You can hold zone 2 for hours. You've built the base. But your body keeps breaking. Niggles that won't go away. Achilles that flare up, a knee that starts complaining 3 weeks into the build. A lower back that tightens on long rides, shoulders that ache after swim sessions. And you're doing the strength training. You're in the gym once or twice a week. You're following a program. You're doing the squats, the deadlifts, and the planks. But somehow the moment your training ramps up, more volume, harder sessions, race season intensity, your body starts leaking. And then you think, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm injury prone. Identity-based statements. But here's the truth most triathletes never hear. You're not injury prone. You're structurally underprepared. Let me take you back to when I learned this the hard way. Just imagine I'm standing on a football pitch, first game back after time away. I can still read the game. I've always been able to read the game. I know where the space is. I know what's coming. I've got the aggression, the timing, the athlete's brain that knows how to compete. And then the game asks me to move. Repeat acceleration, decelerations, sharp cuts, contact, reaction under fatigue. And my body just leaks. And that's a humbling experience when you've identified as an athlete your whole life. It's not just tiredness. It's that you can feel the limit. You can feel where the power leaks. You can feel where your joints and tissues aren't prepared for the demands you're putting them on. Around that time, a friend of mine kept recommending me this coach. He was like, you need to see this guy. I know you're going to love him. And I was hesitant because I've already been around enough PTs to recognize the pattern. Most personal trainers aren't bad people, but most of them don't understand sport. They understand exercises. They understand sweat. They understand making you feel like you've worked. But sport isn't about feeling worked. Sport is about being prepared. I didn't want another generic plan from someone who'd never had to perform. So I went, and straight away, it was different. He didn't start with a workout. He started with testing. He looked at how I moved, where I was leaking force, what patterns showed up, what was stable, what wasn't, what my body was doing to compensate. And as he explained it, everything mapped perfectly onto what I was feeling in football. I remember thinking crystal clear, this guy gets it. And that was the moment I properly understood what strength and conditioning actually is. It's not leg day. It's not random core, not a template program. It's diagnosis. It's intent. It's building a body that can express a sport repeatedly without breaking down. And honestly, that coach became one of the biggest influences on me as a coach. Dare I say, the foundation he set is part of what you're seeing today. The way I think, the way I program, the way I protect athletes from unnecessary breakdowns while they're still building performance. Now, here's why that matters for you as a triathlete. Because triathlon has the same problem I had in football. It just hides it better. Triathlon doesn't always punish you immediately. It punishes you through accumulation. You could be aerobically fit, still be physically underprepared. Your engine can be strong, and the sport will let you get away with it right up until the point it doesn't. That's why so many triathletes do strength training and still break. They'll lift once or twice a week. They'll follow something they found online. They'll do a few squats, some deadlifts, some planks, and then as soon as the season ramps up, more volume, harder bike sessions, more swim intensity, the niggles start creeping in again. The knees, the Achilles, the hips, and lower back. And then the athlete assumes the gym is the problem. But most of the time, it's not the strength training that's bad. It's that it's unstructured, out of sequence, out of season, out of context. Just listen for a second. This is the difference between a gym program and an actual strength and conditioning. A gym program is a list of exercises. Strength and conditioning is a system designed around the sport, the season, and your bottlenecks. It asks different questions. Not what workout should I be doing, but what does triathlon demand from my body? Where do I lose force and efficiency under fatigue? What tissues are failing first when volume rises? What patterns keep getting overused? What quality is missing right now? When you approach it like that, the gym stops being extra. It becomes the thing that makes your swim, bike, and run training sustainable. And this is where the R.A.C.E protocol becomes the cleanest way to understand that. Recover, align, condition, and execute. Most athletes try to execute first. That's the whole culture. Do more, push harder, stack sessions, become disciplined. But your body doesn't care about discipline. It cares about sequence. So let's walk through this properly. Recover comes first, because strength training doesn't start with weight, it starts with state. If your nervous system is fried, your sleep is chopped, your stress is high, and you've already been stacking endurance load, then adding brutal gym sessions doesn't make you tougher, it makes you brittle. Recovery-led strength work is controlled. It's clean positions, it's long rest, it's leaving a little in the tank. It's doing enough to create adaptation without stealing from the quality of your endurance sessions. This is the first big mistake triathletes make. They treat gym as punishment when it should be supported. The next part is align. Alignment is where most programs online fall apart. A template doesn't know if you're in base phase or in peak phase. It doesn't know your run mileage. It doesn't know your injury history. It doesn't know what your body is compensating for. Alignment means your strength work matches the reality of your training and life. This is where movement patterns matter. Not because there's a magical number, but because triathlon is repetitive. Repetition exposes gaps. I use patterns like squatting, hinging, lunging, pushing, pulling, bracing, and carrying, because those are the fundamental ways the body produces and resists force. If you can't hinge properly, your lower back will do what your hips should be doing. Cycling exposes that. If you can't stabilize on one leg, running exposes that. If your scapular control is poor, swimming exposes that. Alignment is about plugging the leaks. Then condition. This is the heart of strength and conditioning for triathletes. Robustness. Not gym toughness, not ego lifting. Robustness is your ability to tolerate training week after week without breaking down. Triathlon injuries are often overuse based, meaning it's not one bad day. It's load rising faster than tissue capacity. So conditioning in an S&C sense is building tissue capacity and control under fatigue. This is where reps, sets, volumes, and tempo actually matter. Because you're not training for one rep max, you're training for repeated force production across thousands of reps in swim, bike, and run. That means a lot of triathletes do well with sub-maximal strength work, controlled eccentrics, single leg work, posterior chain development, trunk stiffness, and smart pulling and pushing for shoulder health. Then execute. This is where the strongest triathletes separate themselves from the ones who keep getting hurt. In race season, strength doesn't disappear, it becomes surgical. Lower volume, high quality, minimal soreness. Your gym work becomes maintenance and nervous system sharpness. It protects mechanics. It preserves strength so your efficiency doesn't collapse late in the sessions or in races. This is also where periodization becomes real. Periodization isn't a complicated academic word. It's just organized stress. You can't push everything at once. When endurance volume rises, strength volume usually drops. When endurance intensity rises, you protect recovery harder. When tri-load backs off, you can then build strength again. It's just themes, patterns, and timing. This is why having a coach matters, because a program can't see your fatigue. A program can't adjust when your life hits. A program can't spot the warning signs before a tendon flares. A program can't decide what to remove so you can keep progressing. A coach gives you a judgment, a dosage, and context. And most importantly, a coach stops you from doing what most driven athletes do, adding more just because you feel good, until you overdraw the system. So if I could summarize this into one sentence, strength and conditioning is not about doing more work, It's about building a body that can handle the work you're already committed to. That's the message, because triathlon isn't just a test of cardio, it's a test of whether your structure holds under repetition. So if you're a triathlete who's been lifting on and off for years, here's the reframe. If strength training makes your triathlon training worse, it's not strength training, it's just poor sequencing. So if strength training follows the RACE protocol, it becomes the backbone of consistency. Recover so you can adapt, align so you can train what matters, condition so you can tolerate volume, execute so you can perform without breaking. That's how you stop being the athlete who's always managing niggles and become the athlete who can train for years. I'm Abraham Spring. This is Season 2, Episode 1, and I'll see you around.